Great teachers do more than impart wisdom. They lead us to the deep waters of knowledge, and by their example, they make us feel thirsty. Luckily, there are great teachers inside the university and beyond it, women and men who whet our thirst for understanding. Today, we are exceptionally lucky to have as our special guest one such individual. And now, I have the distinct privilege and honor of introducing our commencement speaker, a man whose impact on the world is tremendously far-reaching. Dr. Alfredo Quiñones is a notable scholar, world-renowned neurosurgeon, and author of the critically acclaimed book, Becoming Dr. Q. He has truly given it all to help improve the lives of others. As many of you know, Dr. Quiñones, more affectionately known as Dr. Q, has a remarkable life story. He overcame insurmountable odds, moving from an undocumented immigrant and migrant farm worker who knew little English to graduating top of his class from Harvard University Medical School in less than 10 years. Just recently, Dr. Quiñones was awarded the highest award given by the Mexican government to a member of the Mexican or Mexican-American community. He serves as a source of inspiration that you can achieve whatever you put your mind to. As you can read in the commencement program, Dr. Q has been the recipient of numerous high-level awards, has published cutting-edge cancer research in the top science journals, and continues to dominate the field of neurosurgery. Along with his contribution to medicine, Dr. Quiñones has made contributions internationally. He frequently travels all over the world on mission trips and is always welcoming medical students, residents, and doctors from other countries to observe how he practices medicine at JHU. He promotes multidisciplinary collaboration in his research, extending himself to the undergraduate campus, other divisions, and even universities around the world to share knowledge. In my personal experience with Dr. Quiñones, he serves as a model of how to handle success and prestige, which many of us will come to know with grace. When walking through the hospital floors, Dr. Quiñones knows the name of all the nurses and help staff and always gives a cheerful hello as he passes by. He is a remarkable mentor to the many Hopkins students who work with him, a friend to all in the hospital, and a beacon of hope for his patients. All in all, Dr. Quiñones is a brilliant and compassionate leader of our world today. It is my greatest honor to present our speaker, Dr. Alfredo Quiñones.
Congratulations, graduates, parents, siblings, grandparents, faculty. Felicidades. Give yourself a round of applause, please. Graduation is that rite of passage, but it's only a moment in time when one quest ends and another begins, when hopes and dreams collide with uncertainty and probably fear. That I know. I searched deep in my soul, and instead of finding secrets of success to guide you on your path, I kept recalling the stories of falling down, so I will share one, and with it a lesson I learned about the value of failure, that it is not only the answer that matters, but also the questions we ask. In the book, Hunger Games, Katniss says to Cinna, "So you're here to make me look pretty." And Cinna responds with words of wisdom, "I'm here to help you make an impression. I'm not here to promise you success. I'm here to help you think of how to make an impression. I'm here to help you feel this moment." In the words of the great Pitbull, also known as Armando Perez and Cristina Aguilera, feel this moment. See, we have more in common between our generations than you think. This song borrows from the 80s and is performed with all the musical power needed to leave you breathless. I will share one story of falling down as a result of a serious mistake I made. I was 22 years old, breathless, fighting for my life. Stay with me as I jump back and forth in time between past and present. This all happened in a matter of minutes. It was April 14, 1989, 12 noon. Stockton, California. A bright light emerges really high. My mind races trying to understand how I ended at the bottom of this gigantic liquefied petroleum gas tank, gasping for oxygen, fighting to stay conscious. The accident happened without warning, but was really an accident. I was removing the safety leads when suddenly an expensive instrument fell to the bottom of the tank, 16 feet. The sound echoed through my brain as if 1,000 drums were playing in unison. Maybe I was afraid of getting fired. I wasted no time deciding to use a rope to go down and retrieve it. Pablo, my co-worker, said, "It's too dangerous." "No problem, it'll just take me a minute." I gripped the rope and took the plunge. A quick fix, I thought. How can I describe myself at that moment? Careless, overconfident. I thought that I could actually be a superhero, like my idol, Calimán, from a Mexican comic book I grew up reading as a kid. What did I know? Early on, I was afraid of my future, made to feel insecure by a UC Berkeley student who told me, "Impossible. You can't be Mexican, you're too smart." I was caught up trying to find happiness by doing what others said I should do. At times, I was embarrassed of my roots, hesitant to tell people that I was a Mexican immigrant. At your age, I was less mature. My dream was to find richness in the things that I could count. Little did I know that the important things in life are those that cannot be counted. How long did it take for this experience to really mature? 20 years. 20 years it took me to understand what this graduating class can do as you rise to make an impression on your future, to be passionate in your ambition for life, to be purposeful in your aim in life. I could have used the guidance of Gandalf from the Lord of the Rings when he said, "All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us." Back to the tank, 12:05. Almost halfway, the petroleum fumes hit me like a sledgehammer. Stirring up nausea and disorientation, I was heading to no man's land. Sometimes you find yourself falling because of a mistake, sometimes through forces outside of your control. I see that often with my patients, like my patient Chris, whose story was recently chronicled. I met Chris and his wife Bernadette and their 2 young children in 2011. His tumor was massive, dangerous, vascular, all the way from the speech area of the brain down to the brainstem of the medulla. That's no man's land. When you go in to remove a tumor in that part of the brain, it's like diffusing a ticking time bomb, like a scene in the movie The Hurt Locker. And the approach of Sergeant James when he has to answer the question, "Are you within 100 meters of the IED?" And he responds, "Hell, I don't know. I'll tell you when I'm on top of it." And just like that, the world in which Chris and I live collapsed. A sudden explosion of blood vessels as I was trying to deactivate the tumor. Over 4 liters of rapid blood loss. His life was literally escaping in front of me. Was I afraid? Yes, I was afraid. If you're not afraid that you might fail, you may not get the job done. If you are afraid, you will work like crazy. Insightful words from Cesar Chavez, a migrant farm worker. Chris came out well, and the tumor was out. After the surgery, I witnessed a magical moment. As I saw his wife, Bernadette, close to Chris, she held his hand, gave in to tears, looked into his eyes, and say, "I love you." Who's the hero here? Chris, his wife, the people in the operating room that orchestrated a rescue mission so he would see his wife and children one more time. In the tank, 12:08. As I pulled myself up the rope, with all my might, I can no longer hear. Imagine the overwhelming sound of silence. I understand. This is the beginning of the end. How do you find the strength not to give up? I spent 20 years learning how to balance planning versus serendipity, how to take advantage of the power of my dreams. Sometimes a single dream can have more power than 1,000 realities in giving you the strength not to give up. Back to the tank, 12:11. My father, working as a janitor, hears the cries for help and sprints to the top of the tank. He's only 3 steps away when I slip out of Pablo's grip. I register falling slowly, everything encased in darkness. My father heard the crash, and my body reverberated in the tank. Many people risked their life and almost died to bring me back, to give me another chance, a chance to see my future children. How do we feel the moment? Whether we are falling or already down on our knees. For me, is by asking more questions. How can I take what appears to be the most difficult part of my life and turn it into something beautiful? A homeless farm worker, a welder who not long ago was convulsing with seizures at the bottom of a tank, who because of the courage of others, including my father, I am here with all of you today, enjoying this beautiful rain coming down. The true heroes are my wife, my children, the students who will be going to Peace Corps after graduation, the teachers, the janitors, the unsung heroes trying to bring peace to the world, like Anne Smeringhoff, a 2009 Hopkins graduate who wanted to help the people of Afghanistan by delivering textbooks to children when she was killed. She was only 25. They are the extraordinary people who day after day do extraordinary things because they believe in the American dream, the same dream that brings me here today. It is extraordinary, not what I do as a brain surgeon and scientist, but what others do when they trust me with their life, when so many of their most pressing questions are on the line. My patients inspire me to keep asking questions. Who am I? How can my team and I elevate awareness of brain cancer, a devastating disease that threatens the most beautiful organ in our body? What is the future of our country? What is the future of immigration reform? How do we keep the future here by adopting policies that attract and retain the best and the brightest immigrants? Your future is bright, but if I tell you that it will be easy, I would be lying. Your generation will be remembered for your advances in technology, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, becoming more interconnected around the world. This will present new challenges, but also exciting opportunities to ask questions that no other generation has ever asked. 1:30 p.m. I opened my eyes, and beside me was a person in white, a doctor. See, there are no accidents. My father tells me that even in my debilitated state in the hospital, I was concerned about making an impression, especially with the nurses, and gather the strength as I said to him, "Come," and I was pointing to my head and whispered to him, "Does my hair look okay?" I do not have the answers. I have learned that the answers are more readily found during challenging times, when you fall and then you have to get up and try again. Finally, as you think about how you wish to make an impression, I offer you the words my grandfather used to tell me. Charm can open doors, but only character can keep them open. To build character, I had to learn that the value of the answers we seek depends on the quality of the questions we ask. Congratulations again. Go on and keep asking the questions that will define your generation. God bless you.